Hello, YouTube. Hello to all the people in the land of YouTube, to all the people in the land of Yahoo, to all the people in the land of Twitter, to all the people in the land of AOL, to all the people in the land of Google. And sorry about me closing my eyes, but sometimes they burn because, I work. I got a job and a half. So please bear with me that sometimes I close my eyes when I'm speaking and I'm not looking directly into the camera. It's not because I don't want to look at the camera, but sometimes they burn. They feel like a burn. I feel like I need to close my eyes. As you can see, I'm no longer a young whippersnapper, but nonetheless, I'm still pretty agile and pretty quick on what I do, quick on the draw. So I gotta get off of that soul part. I've been told that to get off of it, and I'm trying to break that habit. See how there's habits. See how there's habits. We have habits. You have habits. I have habits. Some are good. Some are bad. In this case, I've been given some feedback that the use of the word "so" when I'm speaking to you all of you in YouTube land, and who are able to listen to my videos. Hopefully, there are people looking at listening to my videos. They are It's useful information that you can use. But nonetheless, we have habits, and everybody needs to consider that we are not perfect. We have all kinds of bad habits. I wish we were all perfect. I wish I was perfect. I wish you were perfect. And, we all were. If we were perfect, we would be in a harmonious society. We would be in perfect harmony. Unfortunately, we're not in perfect harmony, and there's a lot of people out there. People that look at me and say, "Hey, man, what that old man doing on the screen?" Well, we try our best to share what we have. Some of us, we love the audience. We love the people out there. Like in my case, I love the people out there. Although I can't see you, I wish I could see you. I wish I could speak to all of you face to face. That would be great. But under the circumstances that I'm low capital, low tech, plenty of knowledge, but low tech, uh, I'm here talking to you all through the computer, through technology. Technology has come a long way. How many of you remember 3 decades back? I bet there's a good number of you that can go back 3 decades. There's some of you that cannot, and you might not be able to relate. I mean, you can imagine things you might have maybe seen on TV. Some of the movies can go back and kind of recap some of the things that happened 3 to 4 decades ago. But this was not possible. We could not video ourselves and talk to a group of people like I'm doing right now. So this was not possible. It's all new. And we're going to continue to move on into this new world. Whether we want to or not, we're moving into this new world because technology is moving. The world of physics is moving. And the world of physics came at one time and it revolutionized the world. I mean, follow me on what I'm saying. Follow me. Because what I'm saying is really something that you all should know. How many of you can go back and understand that there used to be switchboard ladies when we make a phone call? And there were no cell phones. Later, we got the cell phone. What was the cell phone like when the first ones came out? Were they not the size of a brick? Think about it. And that's just the phones and the switchboards, the elevator people who used to take the elevator up and down. Now there's none. It's automatic. Everything's automatic. Automobiles used to be a lot simpler. Now they're full of computer chips that regulate everything, make the car more efficient, make the car more smarter. Just like the smartphones, it's like having a smart computer in your hand. So just just close your eyes, like I do sometimes. Close your eyes and think about it. Think about how technology has changed your life, how technology has revolutionized your life, how technology is moving you forward. There's a lot of things the ladies can remember that there was a time around the microwave. Think about the microwave. The microwave wasn't around, and yet today with the microwave, we can't live without it. And just that's with everything. I'm just naming some things off the top of my head just to let you know that technology is moving forward. We're gonna go. The next step is to go into robotics, and you've seen in TV the TV ads, the documentaries, the newscasts. We cannot, and I emphasize this, we cannot follow the Trump man. He's a moral hazard individual. I agree with Edmund Hollingsworth, my friend and my associate. We've been discussing this for quite a while. We've gotten some emails. Oh, by the way, my email is V as in Victor, I as in it, V as in Victor, A as in Alpha, 783149 Keep forgetting. I mean, I think I said it a couple of times because I got some emails already. And some of those emails asked me the question about the QAnon. So I asked Edmund, and he has been following that QAnon guy for a while, not for so long, but for a while. He shared with me his experience with QAnon and some of his observations on QAnon. Then I asked my wife if she was doing it, and she said yes, that she was following the QAnon bandwagon, and she gave me her observations. Then I asked a couple of folks out there in the neighborhood about the QAnon. Three of the people that I asked have been following and continue to follow on an alternative to YouTube, an alternative platform, QAnon, and they showed me some of the videos that they downloaded, and they showed me some of the other channel where at the other platform where the QAnon guys at, and looking at through the whole thing. So that's why this is a special program. This is a very special program. Looking at everything, analyzing all the pieces, everything that he says, calling them bits, calling them breadcrumbs, calling them whatever you want, cookie droppings. It doesn't matter what they're called. It's really something that has no sense. That doesn't make sense to me. It's like a riddle, like a Zen riddle, except it doesn't have the profound meaning as a Zen riddle. C as in zebra, E-N, Zen riddle. So it doesn't have that profound meaning and that linkage, but it does connect dots if you follow it correctly, and if you bring the lines and connect the dots to a lot of things that the Trump man is saying. So the guy is not a prophet or a forecaster or uses complex math to determine what's going to happen next. I mean, it's in the open. If you just listen, you'll be able to figure it out yourselves. You don't need the Q man to figure it out. Now, some people were telling me, and I saw some commentaries from other people, and I saw some YouTubes with other people commenting on this, and some for, some against, some neutral. So I got all kinds of feedback and some material, and I appreciate the people out there in my neighborhood who shared the videos with me, and I was able to analyze the videos. But this QAnon guy, whoever he is, it can go either way. The Q. You can look at Star Trek. I believe the Star Trek. Yeah, you can even see the Star Trek One, and then the Star Trek Next Generation and Deep Space. I think it goes up to three, where you see a person of Q, the Q person, and it is a true character in the program, the Q individual, a logical guy, a guy who has logic, who has certain powers, who has certain mysticism, who has certain abilities, and has in-depth mind into different things. So that's kind of like in the Star Trek world. But if you go further back, I mean, for some of those people, some of you people who are from my generation, the 50s, if you go back, you can see the Q man in the Twilight Zone. Oh, I mean, the Q figure or character. And you can see the Q also with Alfred Hitchcock. So they bring out this mysterious person who has abilities, supernatural abilities, which, they are in different eras, in different points, in different moments. It all boils down to really, the new age. To frankly put it straightforward, it boils down to the new age, and it boils down to something where he kind of preludes, and many of the followers, which I've been talking to, the followers, they prelude of something of peace. In fact, there was a documentary that came out from a lady from Holland, a Dutch lady, Holland, and she talks about a peace and harmony. Well, in a cabal, and I'm familiar with the cabal. It's don't get me into that world. I'm familiar with the cabal, and I'm familiar with the dark side of the moon. I'm familiar with that, so I'm just gonna borderline those subjects, especially the dark side of the moon, the dark side, because that's a whole new topic. That if you guys want me to go into that topic, I will. It goes into theology and demonology and euchenology. So you got all this in the church world, in church, out church, doesn't matter. You have all these characters that are playing different roles, and they have different functions, both on the church side and on the demon side. So I'm going to use demon, Satan, Lucifer. It doesn't matter what the name you use. He's the bad guy, so to say. He's the evil guy. So if we look at the Bible, and we want to have a reference point, and I think the Bible is probably the best reference point that we can have. We can look at Aristotle, we can look at Plato, we can look at all kinds of philosophers, Dante. We can look at all kinds of people. We can look at all this. It just takes us to different tangents. If you remember your geometry tangents, lines go from one way to the other. And we can spend hours and hours on each one of these subjects. But just looking at Ephesians 6:12, it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So, using that as a point of reference, we have a dark side, and we've had a dark side like forever. Before I was born, before your grandmother was born, before your grandmother was born, or grandfather was born, great. I mean, we've been fighting a world of evil ever since. And slowly, we've been trying to get it right. Now, let me just step a while and say, how about the cabal? Donald Trump talks about a cabal, that the Democrats are a cabal. He could be part of the cabal too. Why not two cabals? Why not? Ask you yourself that question. If there's one cabal, why can't there be another cabal? What's the cabal? It's just a group of people who think that they're right and accuse the other group or whatever group they're talking about that they're wrong. Yet, flip it to the other side. there's another group over here that says that they're the cabal too. So that's Trump and all his followers, or Q and all his followers. You could get all everybody on there. And what do? You get all these people and they're a cabal. And this side of the group says, hey, those people over there are bad people. They got all this blah blah blah. They got a whole list of that. So right now the hot topic, and believe me, and you can go back and look at the. I mean, you just have to have maybe some friend you got. You can go back and look at TV reels. You got to go back to the real, not just the digitized. Like right now, we're digitized. The reels, and see some of the clippings back in the old days. Hold on. Yeah, what's up? I'm on YouTube. Now you can tell me right now. You want to go somewhere tomorrow? Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. What is he willing to give you? Yeah, tell it to the point because I'm on the YouTube channel right now. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. I got sidetracked. My daughter called me and I had to answer the phone. I know I shouldn't do that, but I'm like you guys. We are the same. I'm not some guy up there who has some business. I'm not some guy who has out there a fortune. I'm not some guy over there who has a lot of charisma or some talent. I'm not a celebrity. I'm like you. You and I, we work. We work for a living. We got to pay bills. And right now, money is scarce, and the bills are piling up. And we got to find ways to cut and tighten our belt so we can pay the bills. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm tightening my belt so I can pay the bill because otherwise I won't be able to pay the bills. Simple as that. And I'm on this channel because I want to share what I know with you guys. So we're talking about the cabal. Like I said, the cabal doesn't mean that they're right. Now, the going topic right now is pedophiles. We had pedophiles like forever, but anyway, let's look at the current right now. We got pedophiles going on. What tells me that the other side is not the Republican Party is not full of pedophile people, and that everybody who's connected to them, and we create a whole tree of them, like this. You got a whole tree like that, branches everywhere. What doesn't tell me that all of those people are somehow connected to pedophile rings or pedophile everything? Pedophile has multiplied since I was a young kid. When I was a young kid, there were pedophiles, but not as they had not multiplied as much as today. So if you look at the series Law and Order, SUV, Special Victims Unit, SVU, I'm sorry, Special Victims Unit of Law and Order, the series. That's a topic that they've been running for since I started looking at them 3 years ago. They've been running that topic of pedophiles and human trafficking. It's gotten worse. It's gotten worse, really. Are we doing it? Of course here in the United States it's happening. It's big here in the US. It's big in third world countries. It's big in second-rate countries. So I mean, it's all over the world. That pedophile rings are all over the world. Now, what are some of the things that multiply these pedophiles? Well, there must be cash somewhere. Somebody has to have money. I don't have money. Maybe a lot of you don't have money, but there's certainly some people have money, and they're able to use that money to have lust. Let's call it what it is. Satisfy their lust, their carnal lust, and go into the dark side of the moon. Go into the dark with the devil. Go and dance with the devil. Kiss the devil's ass. So what tells me that Donald Trump hasn't kissed the devil's ass? Of course he has. One of the things that prevails right now, as I speak with you guys, is the sense of greed. In the movie Wall Street Part 2, Wall Street Part 2, Gordon Gekko makes a presentation, says now greed is legal. Greed is making this world what it is today, what we are afraid of is happening. So whoever that Q people are, which really doesn't mean that there's such a thing. I mean, there's such a thing as a Q clearance, but there's also such a thing as a plain Q. So I mean, it's not something miraculous, not something that's that high level, the Q clearance. But I mean, it's a clearance nonetheless. Everything has a number, letter and number, not a letter by itself and other letters to go with it. So we can spend all day saying about different things, and at the end of the day, we end up with the same problem with the same issue. So forget about he being a high level, because what I saw doesn't take somebody with a lot of clearance to write that down, enumerate it, put numbers, and write it down. That doesn't take a rocket science to do that, and it doesn't take an insider to do that. It just takes somebody with common sense. Period. That's all it takes. It doesn't take anybody rocket science crap. So that Q man or that Q group, whatever they are building a conspiracy theory. A, one follows all and all follows one. It doesn't make sense. It's not even a Zen riddle. We all should follow. We don't, not to be a sheep. What are you talking about? Not to be a sheep. We're a bunch of goats. Where he gets to be a sheep? Nobody's a sheep. Now, we have a strong inclination to form groups of people. Why? That's why cults are so famous, because people like to group with each other, and they're weak in their brain. They got shit for brains. They don't question anything. They just want to feel good with what somebody's saying, and they want to they want to be like a flea, like a leech. They want to hang on to somebody else and to exist. They don't need that. Nobody needs that. We're like a bunch of goats. We go wherever we feel we want to go. So don't be sheeps. Well, instead of saying that, the Q man, instead of saying that, he should say we should be more obedient. We should be following God. We should be, because that's one of the things that God asks of us, to be obedient, to be fearful, to have faith, to put the armor of God on, to have sanctity, to be righteous, to love one another, to not hate each other. What does Trump do? Spill hate all over the place. He hates Mexicans. He hates all Latin America, and they justify. Oh no, well he didn't mean that it's a shithole because it's all beat up and a tornado went through it and a typhoon went through it. He calls them shitholes because that's what they are. Because that's what he decides to call them. No, don't make things up. That Dutch lady doesn't need to make things up to make excuses. It's not a folkloric individual. This guy is not a folkloric individual. He's not a funny man. He's not a Bill Cosby. He's not a funny man. He's a guy who has malicious intentions, who doesn't care of us. The little people, we, the workers, we who toil, we who work from 9 to 5, 8 to 5, 5 to 5, 5 to 3, and have a second job because we need to pay the bills and we need to put food on the table, have a roof over our head. We that are struggling because he lowered. Doesn't mean he took us off food stamps. He lowered the level that people can qualify for food stamps. He arbitrarily lowered it. So now it's harder for people to qualify for food stamps because the standard is below what the actual poverty level is. So there's an artificial poverty level, and that's the one he's using, the artificial one, not the real one, but the artificial one. And just like that example that I'm giving you, which is real, I mean, you can go to your state or to your county or to your city welfare office, human resource office, or human service offices, whatever they call them, wherever you guys are, wherever you guys listen to this, you can go to that office and check it out. I mean, I'm not making this up. Health and Human Services. I mean, you can go there and check it out for yourself, and you'll see that you can't qualify because you are not poor. So they say. I mean, the only way you can qualify is you're living in a ditch, homeless. So he lowered it arbitrarily. So now he says, I got all these people out of poverty. Well, yeah, that doing that, you'll definitely get people out of welfare stamps. Oh, he saved a lot of people because now, and what happened to all these people? Well, they're on on food lands, on food pantries. They're going everywhere to try to get something to eat, and they're barely living. They live with other family. They live under roofs. I mean, there's more homeless right now because of Donald Trump. So he has not been a leader, and if he's part of the Q world, he has failed. I'm sorry, but he has failed. He has failed to uplift what Q says of peace and goodwill. What Q says about peace and goodwill is not happening. It's not happening to we the people. And what else does he say? He says, and I quote, mhm, and this is in Florida. He just did this rally in Florida. And he says, our great civilization has come about a moment of reckoning. What is he talking about? What does that even mean? Our great civilization. What is he talking about? The whole world? The United States? Canada and Mexico? You know, what is he talking about? Our great civilization has come about a great moment of reckoning. You know, what accounts are we going to reckoning means to settle an account. We are, you owe me money, I owe you money, we settle the account. So, I mean, what reckoning is he talking about? What civilization is he talking about? It doesn't make sense what he says. It doesn't make sense. I mean, even the smartest person that we can think of, somebody who has 190 IQ, probably goes berserk by reading by saying, "What does he mean by that?" The only people brave enough to vote out the corrupt establishment is you, the American people. What corrupt establishment? Point it out. If you're gonna whine about something, if you're gonna point your finger and blame other people, point it out. Point out and spell it correctly. This is not a guessing game. You're the president of the United States. What kind of dumb shit are you? Yeah. Corrupt establishment. Well, he belongs to a corrupt. He's as corrupt as the establishment is. Just look at his life. Look at this biography. I don't know if you can see it. It's a biography, and it's written by a Conrad Black, a Canadian historian, and he's writing things favoring Donald Trump. Yet, as you read it, you see that he, no matter how much they want to help him and speak good about him, the dirt comes out, the corruption comes out, his world of corruption comes out, and he didn't start he didn't start from zero. He didn't start from step 10 or step 50 in his business. He went straight to the top. His father was a billionaire already, and he had all this real estate already under his belt, office buildings, public housing. He was running public housing. The father, Fred Trump, and what are we looking at? Fred Trump began to get dementia. Trump saw the opportunity. He took over the business. He didn't let his brother take over the business. He didn't say, "Oh, my brother and sister I have. One of my other brother died, and us three we're going to share the business." No, he didn't say that. He said, "I cut this bozos out, and I'm taking over." So he kicked the brother and sister out shamelessly, with no regret, and he took over the father's business because the father was getting dementia and died of Alzheimer's. What are the probabilities that Donald Trump will get dementia and Alzheimer's? Very high. Very high. So if he talks about genes, he does not have good genes because his father died of Alzheimer's. So he's not a guy with great genes. Maybe Melania has great genes. Who knows? I haven't looked into her story, but I don't care to look into her story because she doesn't play a big part in this ugly drama that we live in. Now, why am I pointing these things out? Well, you might say, well, what if you were president? If I was president, I wouldn't be doing this dumb shit that he's doing. I promise you that I would not be doing this crap. If I had the opportunity and some people out there would finance me to be president of the United States, and I would run, and you guys would vote for me and say, okay, let's give this guy a chance. Hell, I would not be doing what this guy is doing. I would try to bring everybody under one roof, which is the United States. Not split them up, not create hate, all these hate groups that exist, these Proud Brothers and the race supremacists, the Nazi group. The list goes on and on of people who are in this world of hating the blacks, hating the Mexicans, hating the yellows, hating the Jews. There's a large group of people who are in that world. Believe me, I've seen them. I've interacted with them. It's not a pleasant deal to be with somebody like that steals hate. So they have hate against the Jews. They have hate against the Mexicans. They have hate against the Latin Americans. They have hate against the Cubans. They got hate against everybody. And the only ones they love are the Norway people and the Swedish people and the British people and the Dutch people. They want everybody to be white, the German people. So Hitler tried to eliminate a genocide of all the Germans that were black hair or had some type of darker skin and black hair or brown hair. He tried to eliminate them and only wanted the people with blonde hair and blue eyes. And it's written in his book, in his own book, My Cause, Le Cause. That's the name of his book, and he writes it in there. So we don't have to go finding secret letters, secret notes. He wrote to this general, he wrote to that general this little note, and pasting them and coming up with conclusions. He wrote it himself. Now, you got a lot of people who write stuff. I'm writing a book right now. Hopefully, I'll get it to publish, and hopefully, it's a good book. Hopefully, it communicates good stuff to the people who read it. People like it, and they find that they are getting uh, uh, good information for their buck that they invested on the book. That's my goal. My goal is not to slant the truth. I'm writing a book and I'm going to write all this truth and it's all crooked, all skewed, all slanted. I'm telling half lies. Because that's another thing that people have. We run into these people who have half lies. They lie in the middle of the road. So let's look at the media. One of the things that Donald Trump accuses, and you hear it all the time in all his speeches, he says, "Oh, look at all those red dots up there. They're those cameras, and they're the media, and they're fake news. They're all fake news." What is he doing by saying that? He's condemned. The more he says it, people tend to believe it. They don't question it. But I question it. I say, why? Why is it fake news? He loved the news. I mean, you can read in his biography. You can read his biography, and he loves the press. He loves. It's a hate-love relationship between the press and him. The press hate him, and he hates the press, yet they both commingle among each other. That's a weird relationship, kind of like a West Side Story. It's crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy. So he got the bully pulpit now because he won. He targeted the right states. He went to Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Hillary didn't go there. Well, maybe she was tired. She didn't like the people there, and whatever reason was there. Hillary was not a good choice anyway. So we tried this guy, and we Ross Perot had some good ideas, and I met the guy here in Texas. I met his son. I did a job for his son when I was younger. Some of the good decisions that I did, and I didn't follow through on those decisions, and I made a bad decision. So look at where I am in the ditch. But nonetheless, we are victims of our decisions and our choices. More decisions than choices, but anyway, it's part of the decision making, the choices. Nonetheless, we want to make sure that you understand that the Q man is not true what he says. It's There's a lot of fallacy there, or what it should be. There's a lot of false information there, biased information there, slanted information there, half truths information there, zero information there because he says 3 or 4 words and he expects you to fill in the blanks. This is not a puzzle. It's not a word puzzle. And he puts it using the same style. So what is happening here? How many of you have heard what is called collective consciousness? Collective consciousness. Let me define it for you because probably many people have not heard of collective consciousness. And it comes out on several movies, you hear, and maybe it just goes over your head because of the word collective consciousness. But collective consciousness in social anthropology, which is one of the disciplines that I have great knowledge in because I've gone deep into the rabbit hole, is that there is a way to manipulate the brain of large masses. Now remember, this is not an individual. This is large masses through word repetition, through action repetition, through a combination of word and action repetition. So let me give you a quick example, pretty much a classical textbook example. People back in the 20s, and I'm going back to the 20s so you guys would hopefully pick it up, the younger generation. Back in the 20s, women that smoked were not seen well. People didn't like women who smoked. They talked about them. They downgraded them, the women that smoke. So women tried to smoke under the bed, inside a closet, in the bathroom. They wanted to smoke. They wanted the vice. And that's another bad characteristic we have. That's what I mean. Bad habits. That's one bad habit that you develop, smoking. So people smoke. And so the tobacco industry, so how can we do this? So they got some psychologists, some social psychologists, and they say, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. In the parades, in the coming parades, in each parade, we're going to have women smoking. Voila. After after the Christmas parade, the coming year, people could care less whether the women smoked or not. See what I mean? That's how this works. And that's what the Q man is doing. And he has created a cult, whether he was looking for that or not, whether it was something related to the Trump man. Because the Trump man, in his biography, you guys read it, he's been going after the presidency. He has the presidency in mind. And he's been in politics since, I don't know, man, 30 or 40 years. He's been elbowing the politics. He has sponsored, he has given money, not just $100 or $200 or $1,000 or $500,000. He's given millions to different politicians, including Hillary Clinton, including Bill Clinton, including Nixon. So he's given millions of dollars to all these people because he has that capital. Mike Bloomberg, he started a business and he branched it out. And it's kind of like John F. Kennedy Jr. He was born in money. He didn't have to work. That magazine he started, the George magazine, if people can remember that. He financed it all. I mean, use newspapers. Look at your newspapers. How do they start? They start in their garage, and they have to borrow printing presses. They have to lease them. They have to borrow money and start the circulation, and they have to become more popular so they can have income, and that income can pay for the business, and the business can multiply the money so that way the guy can have a profit and have some money to take home. It works that way. But this guy's he was born in money. Now they say the Q man infers is that John F. Kennedy Jr., the son of the president John Fitzgerald Kennedy, was killed in Dallas, not too far from where I live. He according to the Q information, that he wants to have vengeance, and he staged his own death by crashing the plane. Well, let's use that idea for the benefit of the doubt of you people that are listening to me. Let's say he did crash the plane and he managed to survive. What is he going to go after? Who is he going to go after? Larry Oswald's dead. The other guy's dead. Everybody involved in that technical murder is dead. So you have the CIA left. Is he going to go after the CIA? That monster program that is connected to the all intelligence agencies in the U.S. There's 28 intelligence agencies, in case you guys didn't know. And they're all connected to the CIA. It's not like they're independent from each other. They're kind of independent because they belong to different agencies, but they're all connected. And the CIA has influence in all of those. Whether they want to use that information or not, it's up to them. Whether they want to whistleblow or not, it's up to them. They communicate to the president and to the vice president, mostly to the president, They give a CIA briefing every morning. So the president knows. I mean, he's aware of things that happen both internally and externally. So that's something that is happening that we have to be cognizant of. And this that is happening is what's going on in our country. So just be aware of all this. So think about the Q man. The Q man is not something that you want to spend too much time in. The Trump man, I mean, you want to kick him out because he's not something that is good. And the cabal can be one group, can be two groups, can be three groups. They're all over. Satan, he's all over the place. People who practice the black arts are all over the place. Can we reduce the level of pedophiles in this world? Yeah, we can make a dent, but it takes a big effort. Take for example Bill Clinton. He went against the tobacco companies. Did he erase the tobacco companies? I mean, is there no cigarettes in all the United States? Of course not. There's cigarettes all over the place. Then they came out with the vapor cigarettes. So you got vapor cigarettes, you got tobacco cigarettes. I mean, we're killing each other by creating that habit. So we are not in a world where we can defeat all this evil, all this bad guys, and we're certainly going to no harmony place, to no paradise. The only paradise that exists is what the Bible says. Follow Jesus, wait for Jesus, wait for the rapture, go to heaven, go to a new world. Jesus is the path. I am the way. And anybody who follows me will go to heaven, will go to my Father's house. That's what he promised, and that's what he's going to meet. The resurrection is real. A lot of anthropologists has looked into that topic, and they have proven once and once again that the resurrection is real. So we can bank on the resurrection, that Jesus will make us and we'll realize what the truth is, and the truth will set us free. I hope this conversation helped. I hope you all have any understanding of what I said. And if you have questions, please email me. And I look forward to our next video. May God bless you. Thank you.